Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab. You know I'm in the book doing what I do for you. Oh, it's about to get good. I'm teaching now. Let's rock. Rightisms, 25 rules live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice when daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal as a right thinker is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. But you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you, appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do. For you, appreciate you. A person who knows, and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And two, my yacht, be true. Right thinkers, this is going to be a little comedy here. I'm trying to put a little joke to this one. This is a good life lesson. I learned this in old school, but I'm going to just change up a little bit. Right thinkers, let's talk about two bad boys on the road to self-mastery. Who are they? The two ruffians, all right? On the road to self-mastery. If you're a Mason, I got a Masonic symbology going on right here. This should be fun. All right, but the two bad boys, who I'm about to tell you, all right? Ego and pride. Them two, I call them the magpies, okay? In cartoon back in the day, you had the magpies, the joke-telling black guys, the country guys, the blackbirds on the talking crack. Magpies with Deputy Do-Right, I think, and not Deputy Do-Right, Deputy Dog, okay? So these guys will heckle you, Heckle and Jekyll, those guys right there, my boys. But these ego and pride will prevent you from reaching self-mastery. That's my point. That's the moral of this lesson. I'm about to get it in now. Let's go. It should be some fun. But two of the most important and biggest obstacles to spiritual realization or self-mastery is, you ready? Egoism and pride is an expression of it. Why? All of the injunctions from the Maya philosophy refers to the need to what? If everything I'm teaching you goes right back to what? The need to eradicate your ego. Ignorance, okay? That's a problem. Violence and desires in the heart, and special emphasis is always placed on conquering egoism in all the injunctions, number 32 and number 38. They say, I have not multiplied my speech by much. Bragging, arrogance, thinking it's all about them, ego at its best. Pride. Look at me, look at me. In number 38, I have not behaved with arrogance. Sunday, perfect example. My elder of the church pulled me to the side. He said, I want you to know you're special. Thank you, Elder Johnson. No, listen, you're special. You're not arrogant. You're humble. That word right there, arrogance. I told him, I said, I'm learning that from my pastor, so thank him for that one. Why? I'm learning how to humble myself and carry myself in a different manner. I got swag. I'm diddy bopping. You know how I do. So I ain't got a problem with that. I'm not changing for nobody. And the last thing he said to me, don't change. So appreciate that. If somebody gonna give you your props, Give it to him. Don't take it away by that backhanded, insult. Do this, do that. Nope. He said, don't change. Appreciate you, my dude. But these two bad boys, I call them. I think about my man Martin and Smack Man. Okay, I can't get them one. Will Smith. They played the bad boy thing. I like that. So I bounced off that thing. I had already used me and my man. So now, which one is ego and which one is pride? Ego is my man Will Smith. He's get him up. That's the ego. The ego don't give a crap. Don't back down. So that's Will Smith is the ego, and Martin is pride. He got a little family. He trying to be a family man, do the right thing. So okay, let's go. But foolish pride gets you more trouble than the damn ego. So let's talk about them guys. I don't know why I come up with that idea, but that's the scenario I'm working with today. All right. Injunction number 32, I read that to you. It implies that your personality, which is of an outgoing nature, again, the ego, but in an exaggerated way. This personality is distracted and always agitated, always about something, always looking for something to get into. Okay, so if you know the movie, hope you get the characters, I'm just putting it into them, so maybe you can understand it. I'm using that as an analogy. But watch this. Always looking to get into something. All right. This follows along with the injunction 31, where it says, I have not been an eavesdropper. Okay. You too busy to eavesdrop. Why? You busy looking for some stuff to get into. But the concern with events and objects outside of oneself. If I'm not involved, I don't give a damn. Okay. That's what they said right there. Outside, so that part of my ego, I still got him. He's there, but I still exercise the right. What? He just ain't in charge. I still got an ego, big as all outdoors. Just moving on, but okay. When you got him under control, it don't look so bad. But when you worry about objects and things outside yourself, now it is the main cause of what? Your distraction in one's mind. Distraction is the main cause of what? Your inability to discover your spiritual self within due to what? You ready? Egoism. The ego ain't looking for God. The ego ain't in search for nothing high. The ego think it's all about him. The ego is thinking of what? One's self as the personality, and it is fueled, watch this, by the distracted tendencies of one's mind. The distraction leads to ignorance, pride, there you go, right there, and egoism. When them two get together, all hell breaking loose. Don't every time Martin and my man Will get together, all hell breaking loose. Man go in the store to get some hot dog or something, all hell breaking loose everywhere they go. But that's just, I use that for now as an analogy. I'm still stuck with that because it fits. And pride and egoism, okay, go hand in hand with spiritual ignorance. Why? Because neither one of them have spiritual knowledge of self, and it's clear that all humanity is full of them kind of people. Sorry, all creation is an expression of God. We should all understand that by now at this point. But how can there be hatred for or discrimination against any part of God? If we all was one, we wouldn't have that problem. It'd be peace throughout the world. At least harmony amongst each other, and that's just as good. Why? If we ain't fight each other, we at peace. We ain't got to do what. We ain't got to be killing each other. Moving on, but that's the concept. But this is only possible when there is what? Ignorance and egoism running wild. Society. I see ignorance and egoism running amok right now. So this was thousands of years ago. It's still the same thing. How about that? Truth don't change. Reality, it just only thing changes is the players. The game don't change. The game of life cycle, it ain't changed in millions of years. We just going through it. Moving on. The date, the 21st of September. We went from summer, now we into fall. From fall, we heading into winter. But so now the spring, the spring we ride into the sun's starting to go away from us now. We starting to move away from the sun. Okay, it's starting to get less and less. The days starting to get a little shorter. Okay, nights get a little longer. Okay, the fight of night and day. Right now, night gonna start winning. Okay, going into The wintertime. That's another philosophical concept of nature in its truer form. But when you have egoism, there is always what a hidden desire for what? To promote what one believes. Not know, believes in what they desire. That means what they want. When you're led by your belief in your wants, aka your desires, that's not a good combination. Okay? And at the exclusion of what? The desires of others. You don't give a damn about nobody, nothing but yourself. You're going to get yours. Sound familiar to some people? You know the kind of people? Leave them alone. Okay? What's this? One believes that one is correct. And those kind of people, I tell you, a person who knows not and believes that they know, leave them alone. And nothing you can do it with them. When one believes they're correct above others, that means they're above being checked, they're above being critiqued, they're above all. They think they God. That's the ego syndrome. And this conceit, that's what it is, conceit and egoistic arrogance will prevent one from seeing any form of reality beyond their own confines of their own concepts and ideas. Thus, what? From seeing from everyone else is wrong. From their perspective, they always right. Know the kind of people? If you're married, that's your other half. They ain't never wrong. Always wrong, but they ain't never wrong. Ain't never right, but they always wrong. Feel me? Love them. Conceit, along with ignorance and arrogance, exasperated. Why? When that person receives, praise from others due to some achievement or a degree which they have attained. Now we got a problem, Houston. Why? This ignorant so-and-so thinks people like what they do. That's the worst thing you can do. Why? The ego now, that state of ignorance, what's this? When you raise that state of ignorance, I just did a lesson about religious ignorant geniuses. When you don't know, you should shut up. But when you're in that state of ignorance and egoism, people cannot, those kind of people, listen to me, and this is you, I don't give a damn. Those kinds of people cannot either handle praise or censor properly. Why? When they are praised, the ego swells. Yeah, me, my, And when they are censored, checked, set down, the ego now, it's mad, it lashes out, it curses, it shows hatred, and even results to violence. You know those kind of people? Who, because you check them, they want to fight. But see, I'm that dude where, let's go. I ain't him. So I don't give a damn about you wanting to fight. That's my point. I like nothing better. Moving on, get out of there. So violence ain't always the answer, but I'm going to answer the bell. Whenever you call, I'm going to get up. I'm like Pavlov's dog. I'm up and ready to go. You ready to fight? Let's go. Sorry about that, but you know where I'm from. But descriptions that we just given above are for the purpose, and it's for the reason for teaching and explaining stuff, not to rag or talk about nobody. No, it ain't about that. It's about explaining the human predicament nature of spiritual ignorant people. Sorry. That's my point. In this deluded state, the mind leads itself to what? To conflict and unrighteousness. We call that Satanian qualities. That's the ego. As opposed to righteous, truth, and peace. AKA we call that Maya. I eat, sleep, and drink Maya. I practice that in my day-to-day life. Have been for years. Master that. But Satanian behavior is the deviation from what? Maya, which is the truth. And this deviation is caused by delusions of ignorance. Believing what the ego wants is what's real. A deluded human being, listen, can engage in racism, sexism, murder, atrocious violence, arrogance, etc. See, we're going with that. That's all negative qualities that people who are egoistic and prideful will suffer through. That's all they know. While a person, what's this, who have discovered Their what? Their spiritual essence became enlightened by studying, practicing Mayat, cannot harm anyone or anything in thought, word, or deed, or any other way. Why? You become peace lover. I don't squash bugs. I'm ashamed to say that, but that's how I don't come to that level. I care. I show concern. What? For life. The bugs, somebody's okay. Just call me crazy, but yeah. But this is why spiritual right thinking aspirants are cautioned. Let me tell you now, to what? Follow the path of what? Righteousness, aka Maya. Why? She will always lead you the right way. Your ego don't know the right way. It can't go the right way. Maya, righteousness. Even while what? You're in a state of ignorance, you can start practicing. I was ignorant when I started out. Way ignorant. Now I'm a master. So, and because acting what? In a righteous manner, and you're putting in your work daily, what happens? You purifies what? Your negative elements in the mind, start thinking different, which foster the seed that's been planted of what? Ignorance and egoism. So these elements are the fetters of one's soul. That's the ego, fear, desires of the flesh, jealousy, greed, passion. All those are things of the lower nature or set, the ego, pride. Thus, the project of all spiritual right-thinking aspirants who wants to what? Tread that path of Maya. This ain't the easy road. Broad is the road to destruction. Arduous is the road to Maya. You ready to roll? Let's go. Come on. Maya is to work toward cleansing the fetters. That means stop doing the things that's causing you pain, struggle, and misery to oneself. Become conscious. Do the right thing. This is accomplished how? By selfless service. I give that daily. As described earlier in this volume, I gave that lesson. And through attaining for yourself spiritual knowledge, aka self-knowledge, knowledge of you, self-knowledge, through what? Daily study of the teachings and practicing them when in your daily life. That's how you become good at it. You practice until what? You get mastery or you get real good. Either way, you practice. There is one important factor which what? Is inherent in the precepts of Maya philosophy. Pay attention now. That you must receive special mention, which is what? Many times when people are ignorant of the greater spiritual realities, they are caught up in what? Emotionality, right there. Feelings. You can't have a religious conversation with a Christian. Why? Why? They get emotional. It becomes emotional. I don't have time for that. We can sit and talk, elaborate, but it ain't got to get all crazy and emotional. That's the difference. My philosophy don't deal with emotions. It ain't about that. Fact, proven, right, wrong, this, that, simple. A whole bunch of, I believe, don't get nowhere but arguments. What's this? Where we at? It deals with, they get caught up in emotionality. Not with knowledge, not understanding, but emotions and beliefs. And emotionality of a human life, they tend to what? Look for what? Something or someone to blame for what? Their miseries. You know them kind of people? Well, I would have been like if so-and-so. I would have done this if so-and-so. If so-and-so. It's always if so-and-so. You know the kind of people? No. If you don't, I might have to go take a look in the mirror. I'm just saying. But we know those kind of people. We all know those kind of people. They're everywhere. So they want to find a cause for what? The troubles of their life. And the easiest way to do this is what? To look around into the world and point out to those factors around them. I was raised without a father. I was born in the hood. I was just at a third. And when it seemed to affect them, they can bring out every problem they can come up with to make an excuse for what they did. They won't take responsibility for. That's the ego. It ain't gonna stand up for nothing. No. Pride. What happened? What happened? Now they can't stand up. In chapter 125 of the book of Coming Forth by Day, they use the word Nuk, N-U-K. That means I. and it is emphasized with the special connotation. The spiritual aspirant, right thinker, says continuously in all 42 of the confessions, I have not. I changed it my very why because I can't say I have not. I just say I no longer. I've changed, so I made it that way for me. But it says I have not. He or she does not say you have allowed me or the devil made me do it. Heard that one. Or I wanted to be but I couldn't, etc. All those excuses. That's all they are. So therefore, there is a process of what? Holding yourself accountable and responsibility wherein what? Your spiritual teacher or spiritual aspirant recognizes what? That he or she has the obligation to itself to act what? Righteously, and in so doing to purify one's own heart. That's how it's done right there. You take control of that situation. And spiritual practice daily of Mayat can succeed only how? When you assume total responsibility, feet starting running, for your actions. Right there. That'll stop a lot of the nonsense. Why? If you know you're responsible, you might not want to do that. That's why. If the religion you practice or following don't hold you accountable, you fight and following the wrong religion. Why? It needs to hold you accountable. And my philosophy, my principles does just that. And when your actions, your thoughts, and your words, when you're responsible and your feelings, if you constantly blaming your adversities in life on others or on situations that's out of your control, etc. You see where I'm going with this? I'm taking it home now. You will be living a life of lies according to what? Ignorance and weakness of what? Knowledge of self and perfect understanding of will, power that you claim is everybody's fault except yours, taking responsibility. True spiritual strength. I just gave emotional strength. When you don't get what you want out of life, that makes you emotionally stronger. Okay? My mom said, what don't kill you makes you stronger. And every time I didn't get what I wanted, it didn't kill me. It just made me stronger. So, true facts. Again, true spiritual strength comes from learning leaning upon what? The self. Where? Within. Hello. Right there. Right there. If you got to go outside yourself to get help for yourself, you're going the wrong place. That makes sense? Within yourself for what? Your spiritual support and your willpower being rather than upon external situations, people, or objects outside of yourself. You can't blame none of that on none of them. Taking it home. Yeah, perfect. Thus, when you practice the teachings of Maya and you master them, and it can be found all of the important injunctions, each one has a different purpose and reason for what? Living a righteous life which promotes purity and harmony and sanctity. Those are things that society can practice, not just individuals. We all can do that. While these may be found in other spiritual traditions, and every religion has it, I know that, from around the world, no difference. But seldom is the emphasis on what I call nonviolence and balance to be found where? In Christianity, Jesus Christ emphasized what? Nonviolence. Okay. In Buddhism, Buddha emphasized, nonviolence. Gandhi, nonviolence. Dr. Martin Luther King, nonviolence. They all got killed. If you preach nonviolence, they're going to kill you. That's crazy. These traditions recognize what? The power of nonviolence to do what? To heal the anger and hatred within the aggressor as well as the victim. And when this spiritual force is developed, what happened? It is more formidable than any kind of physical violence. You become bulletproof. When you reach a certain level, you can't be touched by what? Physical nonsense or behavior. And if that's what's righteous and true, a lot of people who always preach against something get killed by what they preach against. What's that about? Again, jealousy, envy. That's the ego. That's what the ego does. It takes away the good, takes away the righteous, takes away envy. It kills, it kills, it kills. Therefore, anyone who wishes to promote peace and harmony in the world must be given by what? Purifying every bit of negativity within themselves. They don't have a negative bone in their body. They don't have a bad thought toward nobody. They're good people. So why do they get killed? This guy got killed. That wasn't him. He didn't have that. He had none of that. He got killed because of the rhetoric that he was spewing. Okay, somebody who we were talking about didn't take too kindly. Simple as that. And it wasn't the black people. Moving on. But somebody who hate and got mindset, it ain't got nothing to do with your color. Please understand that. Stop with doing what he was doing. No, I know that, but it was somebody who felt different than his rhetoric that he was spewing and didn't want to deal with it no more and dealt with it in a violent manner. That's human nature. This is the only way to promote harmony and peace in others. That's all everybody who got assassinated was doing. That's not what he was doing. No, that's not what he was doing. So stop. But in conversely, taking it home, wrapped up, I again appreciate you tuning in. If there is anger, egoism within you, now you are indeed promoting what? Anger where? Outside of yourself. And watch this. Your efforts will be unsuccessful in the end on that road to self-mastery. You'll never reach it. That's the difference, okay? And all of those who thought and did righteous and good things, the people who thought different killed them. Take note of that. Understand that. I'm with Malcolm. So, and they got him too. Okay, so depending on where you fall at, I'm doing my thing, and they want to do what they got to do. Okay, I'll be one of them too. But I ain't looking forward to that nonsense. I say, no, I do what I do here. Why? They ain't worried about me. They got a whole bunch of other stuff to going on. I'm falling through the cracks. Again, hope you appreciate the lesson. I appreciate you tuning in. And again, in closing, right thinkers, man, you all did to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never none of my right thinkers who know about the two bad guys, the ruffians on the road to mastery, have passed away. Them bad boys. Their ego and their pride, don't do them. Let them go. Get rid of them. Throw them out.